When we do get back, I notice how good the sun looks right now. With a sigh, I remind myself that I'm here to actually get a project done, not just play around. So, as everyone sits in the motel, I let them know I'm about to shoot some B-roll, gathering up my equipment and heading out into the heat. Dragging it outside, I set it up, sweating even under the evening light. Even this late in the day, the heat was pissing me off. For some reason, it's a lot cooler in Pueblo. My mind drifts back to the many days of summer under the blazing sun, the temperature rarely dipping below 100. I'm amazed poor TJ never had a heat stroke. When I put my eye to the viewfinder, I'm a bit disappointed at how broken down the town looks, even with the amazing backdrop. What a dump. I'll say. It's then that I hear footsteps and talking behind me. I pause my recording and turn around. How's the filming? It's alright. Kinda ran out of sun, but it's okay. Echo looks like crap no matter what kind of light you shoot it in. Do you need us to be quiet? Nah, I'm just shooting B-roll. Was about to come back in. Let's stay out here a minute. Carl and Flynn are getting a little loud. Besides, I want to talk to you too. He wraps an arm around Jenna and reaches out the other one to pull me in so that we are both flanking him. I feel my shoulder press into the warm bulk of his side and chest. He'd always been taller than me. My eyes barely came up to his chin, but now it seemed like he was almost twice as wide. He definitely put on some more muscle since I last saw him. While he was always pretty muscular, he'd been more on the lean side. Now his now his chest and biceps pulled his shirt tight. It felt nice though, like something very sturdy wrapped in velvet. I suppose it was a mixture of adding on both muscle and fat. I'm at least happy to see he's gotten over his little defeat to Jenna. Look at us, the OG crew. Leo's strong voice vibrates from his body into mine. The effect is tranquilizing, and I feel myself relax. Together again. The only thing I miss about this town. Leo is referring to the fact that he, Jenna, and I were the original three of our group of 6 to become friends. Later, we would add TJ, then Carl, and finally Flynn and Sydney. Leo had really been the one to unite us all. I remember when you first got here, everyone was afraid of you. I remember when I first got here and I found a bunch of gringos who wouldn't even talk to each other. We all went to the same schools in Peyton and had our different friends there. When Leo moved in, he thought it was strange that the kids in Echo didn't hang out together. As I entered middle school and high school, I cycled through a ton of different friends, but the ones in Echo always stayed the same. Remember when we'd always have sleepovers at Chase's place? Of course, I'd kick your ass at Claws of Fury all the time. I remember, I used to think you guys were only friends with me for my video games. Many times I'd fallen asleep to the flickering of the old CRT television set, watching the outlines of Jenna and Leo twist side to side as they played. I would wake up hours later, only to find them still playing. It was weird. Jenna and Leo get along really well, but there is a bit of competitive streak between the two. Actually, it's one of the few things that gets Leo genuinely angry. I think he even broke one of my controllers once. How long has it been since we first met? Well, when did you move in? I think it was in 2000. So, take 2015 and subtract 2000. What does that leave you with, Leo? Leo looks sideways at me and smirks. There's a flash of a white canine as it appears from under his lip for a moment. You think yourself a real hotshot now that you're in college, eh? I smirk back, though I know my canines aren't as impressive. Pretty much, yeah. Well, you'll always be those little brats to me. I feel Leo's wagging tail swat me in the butt. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Speaking of which, are you two getting along over there? Gina looks at me around Leo's broad chest. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, we haven't had many chances to hang out. Eh? Why not? Well, it's college. It's also a pretty large university. I don't even think we've ever seen each other in passing. Yeah, things are different, but Gina, we should do something together soon, before you graduate. Definitely. Leo still looks a little disappointed that me and Gina aren't keeping up at the university, but I don't know why. She had her friends, I had mine, and we did talk sometimes. Gina nudges into Leo, causing us all to sway. And speaking of that, when are you going back to Mesa? Mesa is the community college in Peyton. Leo went there for a few semesters before taking a break. And by break, I mean he quit. We'll see. I'll have to talk to my parents. It's just starting to get really busy. Why don't they hire more people? You know, you would have graduated by now. You would have had your master's by now. Leo sighs. It's about committing to the family business, not the help he needs. Gina rolls her eyes, blowing out some air and ruffling the tuft of fur on her head. Laws and their families. You should try thinking and speaking for yourself sometime. If I hadn't done that, I'd still be stuck in that crank house. Gina flicks her head vaguely in the direction of where she used to live. Gina is the only one, aside from Carl, who has family still living in Echo. I wonder if she's going to visit them, even though I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to that. I see Leo tighten his arm around her shoulder, but she goes on without missing a beat. And you can start without Otter here. I look up, caught unawares. Huh? What? Gina. I'm serious. Gina puts her paw up in Leo's face, cutting him off. I am not going to spend this entire week with you asking me when or how you should do it. Let's rip off the Band-Aid now. Chase? Gina. There's a warning tone in Leo's voice as he pins back his ears and drops his arms from our shoulders. I already know what's happening. It's been a long time coming. I take a step back and fold my arms, looking to the side. Chase, Leo has some things to say to you. And yes, it's about that. Now I'm going to head back in and make sure Carl didn't light up in the bathroom. Gina. His tone changes to exasperation as Gina turns on her heel and leaves. Judging by the curl in her tail, I can tell that she is pretty satisfied with what she's just done. I returned my attention to the road. I couldn't really bring myself to look at him right now. We both stand there for a minute, 3 feet apart. I hear Leo scuff the ground with his foot, then sniff as the dust rises from the ground. I hear him draw in a breath a few times, as if he's going to say something, but ends up blowing it out with a sigh. We were never good at this, probably why it ended up failing like it did. Leo. I'm sorry, Chase. For what? Not talking to you about this when I should have. Talking to Jenna about it when I should have been talking to you. He reaches out and sets a paw on my shoulder, the silver anchor on his wrist glinting just a bit in the faint light. He's smiling at me, but I grit my teeth. Why are you still wearing that? His eyes flick from the bracelet, then back to my face, expression turning defensive. Why aren't you wearing yours? Don't you remember what we said? I sigh, looking at the scattering of clouds behind Leo's head. They're tinged a soft pink from the fading sun. The sunset is almost the same color as Leo's fur. Leo, we were teenagers. That's not an answer. He cuts me off and I look back at him. I told you, they weren't love bracelets. They weren't just about our relationship. They were about everything. Our friends, family, memories. Echo. I raise my voice above his, cutting him off this time. They were about Echo, Leo. We stand there for a while, and Leo's looking closely at me, expectantly, his ears tipped forward. His eyes pierce me like amber shards. It was always hard to look him in the eye during our arguments. This is such a cute CG, man. I love it. I love the colors. It's pretty sad though, but I love the colors. What? Do I have to say it? Alright, fine. I fucking hate this place. Everything about it. It's the most miserable goddamn place I've ever been. How many places have you even been? Enough to know that it's miserable. Most everyone here is old, obese, on welfare. Half of them are probably on meth. Leo pulls in a deep breath and blows it over my head. I can smell the bell peppers on his breath. No one likes it here, Chase. I mean, it was an anchor. I'm half laughing. Just looking at it made me feel like I was still tied to this town. I didn't need it reminding me of all of that awful stuff. I know it was supposed to symbolize our being each other's rags or whatever, but it stands for a lot more than that. But a lot of good things happen here too. No one should forget where they came from. Sometimes I wish I could. At this point, Leo's deflated a bit, going into a slouch, his ears lowered. Wait, you said was. You didn't get rid. No, I still have it. It's just in a drawer in my dorm room. Honestly, if it was anything else, like one of those infinity bracelets we saw, I wouldn't have trouble wearing it. Well, fuck, why didn't you say anything when we were buying them? I didn't know it was gonna be a problem. Leo takes in a deep breath again before blowing it out, puffing out his cheeks this time. Puchica, Otter. He puts a paw to his eyes and holds it there for a few seconds. It's a pose I'm pretty familiar with. Even though I haven't seen it in a few years, I'm hit with a wave of memories. Mostly of me frustrating or embarrassing Leo somehow. We decided on the anchors mostly because they looked pretty. Leo had referenced some wolf metaphor about roots and how we are always drawn back to them. And also some bullshit about how otters were great sailors, but really, it was just the aesthetic. For some reason over the years I'd begun to associate the anchor with being stuck in echo. It was when I started connecting the anchor to Sydney that I'd taken it off. It was too much. Anyway, Leo brings me back to the present and I focus back on him. What I was trying to say was that I'm still not okay with how you left. Leo, I said I was sorry, and I still am. Or how you stopped talking to me for a while. Okay. I was a kid. I thought I had a good tactic. Like Jenna said, rip off the band-aid, you know? We did start talking again. It was more like you punching me in the gut, then kicking me in the balls. The problem was that you didn't even give me a chance to say anything. Or at least tell me why before you broke it off. I stay silent for a while, then finally look up, sit in my jaw. Like I said, I was young and dumb. I didn't know how to handle it. I can keep apologizing, or we can move on and make the most of this. We only have 1 week, and I want to have fun. Leo looks to the side, paws on his hips, as if contemplating, then looks back at me with a smile. Alright, fine. But don't think you're off the hook. I still want to talk soon. Soon, just not right now. I stand there awkwardly for a few moments. Then, because it feels appropriate, I step in and give him a hug. He takes it willingly and he's warm and strong. For a moment I wonder why the hell I dumped this guy. Just then, someone lays on the horn as they drive past us. That was loud. Pulling me out of my reverie. Okay, well, I cannot say this because this is YouTube, but you can read it. At least I don't think I can say it. Maybe I can, but I guess it depends on the context. I should be able to say it. Anyway. Well, echo really does suck, doesn't it? I lean back so I can watch the car spin down the empty road. Leo keeps holding me though, and he just chuckles. The echo hasn't changed much, has it? No, it hasn't. As we're saying our goodbyes, I remind Leo about the shots I need off the lake. He says he'll talk to the other two about it after they leave. We all say our goodbyes before Leo, Carl, and Flynn take off. DJ takes his usual hour getting ready for bed, while Gina does some schoolwork. By the time I finish brushing my teeth, I'm grateful to see them both in bed. I get under the covers next to TJ and lay there for about an hour, staring at the ceiling. Slowly, I slide out from under the covers, careful not to wake TJ. Quietly, I slip my jeans on and grab my jacket before heading out the door. Toby builds a small sandcastle next to the lake, in the process of digging a moat around it. Jenna drops a few twigs next to it before running off to find more decorations. Flynn is talking to Sydney, pointing at Toby's sandcastle. Sydney looks hesitant but excited. He seems to make up his mind, suddenly running forward and kicking the top of the tallest castle. It breaks easily with the most of it flying into Toby's face. Toby flinches back, shocked before immediately crying as he rubs his eyes. Jenna comes running from across the beach, yelling, before shoving at Sydney, who's laughing. She turns to Toby, trying to help him clean his face, but the lynx pushes her away before running towards the trail back to Echo. Wow, Sydney. Kind of a dick move there. Everyone's picking on poor TJ. Okay. Yeah, River feeds Emma Lake from the north. Yeah. It's a farther drive than the lake itself, but it does have a few nice clearings along its edge. One of them has a few benches and a rusted to hell public grill that I'm sure no one has used in decades. This is the place that we go. As we're unloading Leo's van, I decide to get the B-roll of the lake right away. It won't have much of a presence in the pocket, so I think I'm just gonna narrate it over later. The actual lake is only a few minutes walk from here. It's a bit difficult navigating around the sagebrush, and I know I'm gonna have to check for ticks later. Ew, I hate ticks. I haven't gotten one since I was like 10. And I don't want to. By the time I reach the lake, my friends are pretty far behind me, hidden behind a few bends and hills. I'm getting uncomfortable with the idea of me holding this camera while I navigate this terrain. It probably would have been better if Leo had just parked the car next to the reservoir while I got out to film, but I guess even that still wasn't okay. There's a large square of plowed ground next to the parking lot now, several benches, and a row of brand new grills. Several lamps have been erected around the area too. Leo was right about the town trying to turn the reservoir into a recreational spot. I can actually see a few jet boats skimming through the water, leaving long trails of light behind them. There's even what looks like a feline of some sort fishing in the shallows. It will explain why the motel is still in the business. Lake 𝐏𝐻𝐿 is fairly small, only about 12 miles long and 5 wide. I look around before climbing to the top of a nearby hill and get my shots. Even with a few people there, it's still pretty quiet, aside from the train horns, and it's kind of eerie. I wrap up and start to quickly make my way back. It's hard to explain why I'm getting freaked out in the broad daylight with people around. Either it's because of what happened all those years ago, or I'm just psyching myself out. I'm glad to hear my friends' voices again as I get closer. Then again, it sounds like they're fighting. Been acting like a dick all day. Be glad I came here at all. Apparently, it would have been better if you hadn't. Maybe I should just fucking leave then. It sounds a lot more serious than our usual squabbles, so I quicken my pace. They seem to quiet down a bit once they see me coming. TJ's off to the side, looking out over the river, occasionally throwing a rock into it. Carlos sits in a lawn chair, one of 6 that have been set out in a semicircle. He has his chin on a fist as he lazily stares at me. Jenna and Leah both stand next to each other, looking at Flynn, who's got his back turned, rummaging through the cooler. Hey, what's wrong? Leo sighs. Nothing. You get your film? Yeah, got it. The silence is still awkward, and I have no idea what the hell to do with myself. I finally realize that I'm still holding the camera and decide to put that away. Hey, I'm gonna go for a quick swim. Haven't been in water in a while. When we first got here, I was completely disappointed to find that the motel didn't have its own swimming pool. Being an otter, I usually like to swim at least once a day, if not more. It's been 3 days, and I'm feeling antsy as hell for it. Flynn finally turns around, a beer in his hand as he cracks it open. It was true that he'd been acting a bit strange today. He'd held the entire trip up by a few hours, and when he'd finally shown up, his eyes were bleary, and he seemed sluggish, like he'd been up all night. When we'd asked if he was alright, he brushed us off. Yeah, thanks for the help setting up, Chase. You're about as useful as this fat ass here. He swings the paw holding the beer at Carl. Flynn. So, enjoy that swim while I set everything out. Yeah, I will. Make my soda a diet while you're at it. I've had it with Flynn. He's souring the trip with his need to be an asshole. Go fuck yourself. I ignore him as I strip on my shirt and head to the riverbank. I pat TJ on the shoulder as I pass him before slipping into the water. We are currently in the middle of a drought that has lasted the past 3 years, so the water is low, only about 10 feet at its deepest. It's enough though, and God, it feels good. It's spring, so the water is pretty cold. I swim back and forth a few times before finally diving in. Man, the CGs? Like, there's only a few CGs, but they are so good. I don't know how to hide the text, which is a shame. But yeah, this CG, man, I love it. I love the water. I love how it's painted. Eventually, I settle on drifting to the bottom, laying and gripping on the rocky floor as I stare up at the shimmering light above me. I feel a gentle current run over my body. It's nice to be away from all that tension above me. I feel isolated, alone, and for now, that feels good. Only I could really come down this deep, the others not being able to hold their breath as long, or being too little. I remember when we were younger, I would give the others rides around the lake, able to swim for nearly half a mile and back. Even Flynn the asshole had done it a few times. It was one skill I had that I was proud of, even if it was inherent to my species. It still made me somehow useful, or at least different from everyone else, in a good way. I had always felt like the odd one out in the group, as strange as it sounds. Where everyone else has a strong, distinct personality, I was just average. Sometimes I wonder if they were just friends with me because we all had to be when we were younger. This whole trip has kinda forced me to think back on all the memories I have of this place, and my friends. They were always doing the cool things, being different, but I just sort of blended into the background. Even then, I wanted to do something, to stand out, somehow. That's what I'm trying to do here, I guess. It's been about 7 minutes, and I only know that because that's about as long as I can hold my breath. I decide I should go back up and help out, so I slowly let myself float back up towards the surface, trying to stay in the same spot. When I surface, it's pretty quiet. For a second, I wonder if everyone is just gone. Of course, that's ridiculous, and as I come over to embankment, everyone's there. Predictably, Flynn didn't get my food out, so I go to the cooler to grab a sandwich and soda, before sitting in an empty chair next to Leo. Apparently it was a good idea to bring lawn chairs, considering the tables looked like they were covered in a year's worth of bird shit. Ew. How was the swim? His tone is bitter and salty. He's not in his usual grumpy but good-natured mood. He's genuinely unhappy. What the hell was his deal? Amazing. I'm gonna have to come back here again sometime during the week. You lizard people don't understand. You hardly ever need water. It always scares the hell out of me when you're down there for that long. I'm built for it. Remember when you gave us rides? That was fun. Remember when you'd always scream like a girl when Chase would go out too far out? Oh, wow. I remember that now. Hey, I've never really liked water. Anyway, Chase would do it on purpose. He knew I didn't like it, out to a certain point. Carl looks at me. You know what was really cool was when you'd take us down for a dive. Oh yeah, Chase was our own little submarine. I'm starting to get that otters are swimming clouds vibe again. Still, I kind of enjoyed the attention. We get you to take us to the bottom so we could look for treasure. Leo makes air quotes around the last word. And, you know, we probably would have found way more stuff if you guys hadn't been dragging me down. I remember when... Are we really fucking talking about this? Everyone turns to look at Flynn. His voice is low and dangerous. There's a chill in the air because we all know what he means. I was actually feeling pretty good about it at this point. Like we crossed the bridge, being able to talk about it for once. Apparently, we hadn't. Flynn. No, I'm serious. Do you think it's okay to fucking talk about this when the lake is just a quarter mile that way? You know what, Flynn? I think we should. Isn't that part of the reason why we're here? No, if that were the case, we'd be over there. But we're here. And why is that? Everyone's quiet for a moment. I see TJ shrink into his chair, staring hard at his lap. Flynn, we came here because Chase needed footage. A change comes over Flynn. His face darkens, and everyone senses it. Flynn turns to me, and it takes some effort not to flinch back. Yeah, and why is that, Chase? You gonna put that in your fucking documentary? No, 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐞𝐨𝐧 is an important part of Echo's history. I just what? Flynn raises his brow ridge at me, and finally I just lower my eyes. This was a fucking stupid idea. You know what, Flynn? If you'd be a little more open, tell us what's on your mind, we'd be able to avoid a lot of this kind of stuff. Oh, you wanna know what's on my mind? Flynn swivels and marches up to Carl. Alright, let's start with you. You're fat, lazy, no motivation, no future. What the hell are you planning on doing with your life? Sit here, waste away in Echo, mooching off your parents until you're dead? Carl stares back up at Flynn impassively, though he hunches in on himself a bit further. Flynn, don't do this right now. And you, thinking you're better than everyone else. I can tell. You think everyone in Echo is trash. Just because me and the others haven't left, you think we're lower than you. Just because we don't have an education, we are a bunch of our words. Yeah? Well, you left your whole fucking family behind without even saying goodbye. You know what's even going on with them right now? What they're dealing with? Yeah, real fucking hero you are. You think I... Stop it, Flynn. Ah, our unquestionable leader. We wouldn't have been friends without you, would we? That's why you brought us here, right? So we could all bond? Or... wait, was it just because you wanted to get into Chase's pants? Leo's ears fall flat. Probably. You've been a mess ever since he left, so let me be the one to tell you. It's over. It's fucking unhealthy. You're obsessed with him. Slowly, his head turns to me, and I brace myself. And I can't imagine why. You, Chase, have the personality of a fucking rock. I wish you could see yourself. You just sit here like a creep, watching everyone, weighing everything that we say. Yeah, we are the protag of a visual novel. And don't think I haven't caught the way you stare at all of us, like we are all objects to be collected. What? Are you just planning to cycle through all of us for sex? Sure seems like it. Flynn stops, then exhales. It seems like it's over. I really hope it is. That proves futile though, as Flynn turns slowly on TJ. You're scary. I had silently prayed that the Lynx would make a run for it, while Flynn had all his attention focused on us. But TJ looks apathetic. Like a statue, like there's no soul in him. Flynn pauses though, as if he's at a loss for what to say. Finally. What happened, TJ? Flynn. Leo stands up, and from his posture I can tell the wolf is ready to fight. Memories are starting to flow back. TJ, Flynn, thinking he done something too. I stand up as well. Flynn may sound like a hard ass, but physically Leo had him beat, easily. Flynn can obviously tell that he might have a fight on his hands though, and it's clear he doesn't want that. He drops his shoulders, seeming to think, as if invisible strings that had been holding him up were cut. He turns to us, then gestures at TJ. I just want the truth. Can we just put a stop to this today? Right now? I don't think you know how much of a nightmare this has been for me. Not really knowing, TJ. TJ stares up at Flynn, muzzles it grimly. What happens to Sydney? It's that quiet. TJ stares at his lap, not moving. Come on, let's... Flynn holds up a hand towards me, still staring at TJ. Slowly, TJ looks up, his face still stoic, still made of stone. I already told you what happened. Bullshit. Flynn steps forward, but Leo's there to grab the back of Flynn's shirt and swing him around. I dodge out of the way as Flynn is flung back to land on his ass, kicking up a big cloud of dust. Shit. Flynn, I swear to God, if you start a fight here, I'll drop your stupid ass. Everyone except DJ is standing now, staring at Flynn. Flynn sits there, glaring up at Leo, obviously waiting his chances. He seems to come up short though, as he spits to the side and stands up, brushing off his pants as he turns away. You're all okay with not knowing? Fuck all of you. He turns back around, hands in his pockets, a bitter look on his face. This whole thing was stupid, Leo. We're not even friends anymore. Flynn scuffs the ground before turning and walking towards the trail that goes back to Echo. God damn it, Flynn. Fuck off. Flynn keeps walking, and it's pretty clear that he isn't coming back. I raise a paw and rub it over my eyes. What was he doing? He's a passionate guy that will sometimes just explode with all his insecurities, before running away and hiding for a few days. He screwed us all like that before, and that was classic Flynn. But he was especially mean. Dark. And the part of TJ. I vaguely remember Flynn having some sort of suspicion, but that had been a long time ago. Had he been sitting on that this whole time? I look to the left and see that TJ is gone. Carl is still sitting down, but now it looks like he's pulling out the joint. Leo's walking off down another trail, cursing while Jenna follows him. I stand there, next to my chair, undecided. Well, well, well. This will be in the next episode. But goddamn, the arguments in this game are so good. Like, it really feels uncomfortable. Like, I'm actually there watching it, like, in the background. I love the way, like, the arguments are written. It's so good, so dramatic. Okay, I'll see you in the next part.